Good evening from a beautiful Los Angeles, California. We can finally start breathing the air over here, so that's really great. For this week's interactive advanced concept presentation 5, we're going to clean some pennies using oxidation, or hopefully clean some pennies in during oxidation. We'll see how that works out. So the goal here is to reverse the effect of the rusting on the pennies. So let's talk about what ingredients we have to do our lab today. So we have one non-metallic bowl right here, a paper towel right here, one plastic spoon right here. We have a teaspoon of salt, which we will measure out, and here's the salt. Here's the white vinegar, so we need a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. So I have a measuring right here, and we will do a 1/4 cup and hopefully not spill it all over the place. That's pretty accurate right there. Put that down for a second. Okay, perfect. So water, and I actually have poured the water already into another bowl just for ease of what we're doing here. And then we have the main character in our saga today, and that is the pennies that we're going to use. So what we think will happen is that by putting dirty pennies in the vinegar and salt mixture, the copper oxide and some of the copper will dissolve into the water. Or in science terms, some copper atoms will leave the pennies in, leave the copper atoms will leave into the mixture that we're going to create. So let's do this and see what we come up with. So the first step, we're going to take our vinegar that we just poured out here, and we're going to pour it in our bowl. So as we know from previous experiments that we've done together, vinegar is an acid. So we'll see how that plays out here. So once again, we've got the vinegar in the bowl. So next we're going to add the salt. So here's our salt, and I'm going to put this into our vinegar solution here. Trying to estimate this out as best as I can. And that should be pretty accurate. We'll see how that turns out. So we have the salt in our mixture. So the salt should react with the vinegar from the first step that we just did prior to this. And it should theoretically break down and free the chlorine ions that are in the salt into our solution, or we hope it does. So we're going to take our spoon here and we're going to mix this together as so. So we're mixing the salt and the vinegar together. This smells very vinegary. And we're going to try and get it to completely dissolve. I have some salt on the bottom, so I'm sort of trying to pick it up to get this dissolved together, but I think it's probably pretty good. So now we're going to take their pennies. I have some really dirty pennies, so that should hopefully make this easy. Some of these are very old and very dirty from way before I was born, and I'm a little old, so that works out well. Okay, so we're going to carefully add them to this bowl, and theoretically what we should see is, let me take this spoon out here. So theoretically what we should see is they should theoretically get clean pretty quickly once we get in the solution, and this is because the copper oxide that is formed on the coins dissolves in this mixture of vinegar and salt. And really on any coin should work with this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a US penny, but it's a copper sort of metal, copper material. So any foreign currency that's made of copper should also work too. So the longer that they're kept in this solution, the cleaner that they should become. So let's give this a shot. All right, so we have our pennies that are in the mixture. So we are going to let them sort of get clean here. It's actually pretty obvious. Let me see if I can tilt this camera down a little bit and you can see, you saw that pennies are really dirty at the beginning. and they're getting much cleaner now. It's like night and day, actually. It's pretty cool. It's like brand new pennies. Wow, they look like they're just off the factory pressing line, if you can see that right there. They're nice and shiny. So what next? How do we do this? How do you stop the reaction? So what we can do is, in order to stop the reaction, we take our mixture that has we just take the water, right? So if we take our pennies out of this vinegar salt mixture and drop them in the water, that will cause the reaction to stop, because there's really nothing causing the reaction anymore. So I'm going to pluck these pennies out of here, drop them directly into the water. And that's going to stop this. Ow, that burns a little bit. So that immediately stops this. So now we have the pennies in just water. That's stopping the reaction. And let me pull one out for you just so you can see night and day. There we have a super shiny penny. So there we have it. We have successfully achieved oxidation. You could also do some other crazy things like make art. I saw a video that you can make art on the pennies, but let's face it, I'm into science and not into art, and I wouldn't know the first thing about doing that, so I'll leave that to the art professionals. So that is week number 5, and that's all I got for you today, so bye for now.